From the very beginning, the morning felt strangely heavy, as if the quiet inside the motorcycle workshop carried a warning no one could hear yet. Sunlight pushed through the half-open garage door, catching dust in the air and giving the place its usual calm. But that calm didn't last. It broke the moment a tiny figure appeared at the entrance, slow steps, dragging feet, and a stuffed rabbit scraping softly across the floor. No one spoke at first. They simply watched as the little girl climbed onto the workbench, her small hands gripping her dress tightly. Her breathing shook, her cheeks were wet, and even the tools on the wall seemed to hold their breath. Then her fragile voice cracked through the silence, a whisper so soft yet so painful that the entire room froze. "I can't close my legs." And with those words, everything changed. Ray Donovan, the man everyone in town considered unshakable, felt his entire world tilt when he heard her voice. His broad shoulders, usually steady as steel, suddenly tensed, and for the first time in years, fear crept into his expression. He knelt down slowly, as if any sudden movement might make the little girl break even more than she already had. Behind him, Mason and Kel, two men who never backed down from a fight, stood frozen in place, their tough biker bravado stripped away in seconds. None of them knew what had happened, but they knew enough from the look in her eyes. This wasn't a small injury, and it wasn't something a bandage could fix. Ray's tattooed hands hovered in the air, careful, hesitant, almost shaking, because he didn't want to hurt her further. In that moment, the toughest men in town were reduced to silent protectors, held in place by a child's pain. Lily tried to speak, but her words came out in pieces, fragile and trembling, like she was afraid the air itself might hurt her. She didn't explain anything at first, she only lifted her shaking hand and pointed toward the long road outside, the same road she must have limped down alone. That single gesture carried more fear than any sentence could. Ray's eyes followed the direction of her finger, and his stomach tightened as he took in the details he hadn't fully noticed before: her torn dress, the dirt on her knees, one shoe too big and the other too small, as if she had slipped them on in panic. She wasn't just hurt. She had run. Hard. Far. And whatever she was running from still lived in her eyes, wide and filled with a fear no 7-year-old should ever know. That was the moment Ray understood: this child wasn't just injured, she was escaping something. Ray didn't need anyone to say a word. The moment he saw Lily's body shaking and her knees refusing to bend, something fierce and protective lit up inside him. It wasn't the kind of anger that came from fights or rivalries. This was deeper, older, the kind that rises when innocence is threatened. He gently wrapped his leather vest around her tiny shoulders, the same vest that once made people step aside, now acting as a shield for a trembling child. Mason moved without being told, rushing for the first aid kit, while Kel quietly pulled the garage door down to block out curious eyes and whatever danger might still be lurking outside. None of them planned it. None of them discussed it. They just knew what had to be done. Lily needed safety, and they were going to give it to her, no matter what the cost. The clinic felt too small for the weight of the moment as Ray carried Lily through its doors, his arms wrapped around her like she was something fragile he refused to let slip away. Nurses rushed forward the second they saw her condition, guiding Ray toward a room while Mason and Kel hovered outside, pacing like anxious shadows. Hours passed in slow turns of the clock, each minute tightening the knot in Ray's chest. When the doctor finally approached, his tired expression said everything before his words did. Lily's leg wasn't closing because her knee was severely sprained, twisted from running too hard, too fast, in pure fear. She was bruised, shaken, but safe. And then, as if the night couldn't hold more emotion, her mother arrived, eyes red, breath shaking, guilt and relief crashing into each other as she pulled Lily into her arms. In that moment, gratitude filled the room like warm light. In the weeks that followed, something gentle and unexpected began to grow between Ray and Lily, something neither of them said out loud but both of them felt deeply. Ray found himself stopping by her house after work, sometimes with a small toy he fixed, sometimes with nothing but a quiet presence that made Lily's world feel safer. She would sit on the porch steps, her once shaking legs now slowly healing, and watch him carve tiny wooden motorcycles with the same focus he used when tuning engines. The town, which once judged the bikers by their leather vests and loud engines, started seeing something different: men who opened their doors when a child needed protection, men whose actions spoke louder than their reputations. And as Lily's laughter slowly returned, as she began running again without fear, Ray stood nearby, arms crossed, a soft pride hidden behind tough eyes. In the end, he became exactly what she needed, a guardian shaped by kindness.